Hello, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. So today I wanted to try out this idea that I was thinking of. I am getting ready to move in a few months and I'm wanting to unhaul some books. And there are a few books that I've been sort of not very attached to or tempted to unhaul. And I thought, what if I read a chapter of each of these books and then decide if I really want to unhaul them? So let me show you what books we're going to be trying out in this video. We have Just One Look, and this one is by Lindsay Cameron. I don't really know very much about this book except that it has to do with a stalker, I believe. That's all I really know about this one. I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, and so I was tempted to just kind of unhaul it because I've had it for a while and I haven't reached for it, but I do want to give it a shot. And then this one I really am almost determined to unhaul, but I did still want to give it a tiny shot, and it is The Project, and this is by Courtney Summers. I've heard from almost every person who has read this one that it was just really disappointing, and I almost just straight up unhauled it immediately, but then I decided I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna read one chapter and let you know my thoughts on it, and then decide if I want to give it more of a go and then just DNF it. So that's the next book. And then this next one I actually picked up at a little free library, and I had never seen this book before in my life. It's called When You Are Mine by Robotham, I believe, and the cover is nothing special, and I just keep not picking it up, and I have it and I don't want it taking up space on my shelves because I'm trying to clear my shelves out for, you know, new books, and also just only have books that I either really like or have some sort of attachment to on my shelves before I move, which is still a lot of books, I'm not gonna lie. But I wanna try this one out. This one, I don't really know what it's about. The inside says, a talented young police officer faces danger on all fronts from a clever victim of abuse, skeptical colleagues on the force, and even her own father. So it's a psychological thriller about a police officer, and this isn't something I would usually gravitate towards. And when I picked it out of the little free library, I was literally just taking out the trash at my coffee shop job and passed it and grabbed it. So I didn't really read anything about it. So I'm interested to see how the first chapter is and if it looks like something I'd be into, or if I should just go ahead and unhaul it. And then the last book is The Escape Room, and this is by Goldin. And I read The Night Swim by this author, and I really love that book. I gave it 5 stars. It was such an impactful read, and I just thought it was such a well done thriller. This one, though, is about a group of strangers who are stuck in an elevator together, but I've heard that not that much of it is that suspenseful, or I think I even heard someone say that like not all of it takes place in the elevator, which is kind of annoying. I would want it all to take place in the elevator, but before I unhaul it, I want to give it a shot. So inside the book it says, welcome to the escape room. Your goal is simple, get out alive. So this sounds like totally up my alley and totally a book I would love, but just by what I've been hearing from other people, I'm not sure I'd love it, but I do want to give it a shot. So these are the books. I'm not sure which one I'm going to try out first. So I'm currently on sprints on Cassidy's channel, Covers with Cassidy here on YouTube. And so we have 12 more minutes, and all of these, the first chapters are usually about like 10 to 20 pages, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to fully finish. Kind of just depends on the writing style, the font size, all of that. So I maybe will try to read one chapter right now and see if I can get through it, and then fill you all in once I finish it and let you all know. I've also got my freaking adorable Squishmallow here. It's so comfortable to read with, and also just very adorable in general. He's giant. Anyway, so I'm reading with my Squishmallow tonight. Alright, so I read the first chapter of Just One Look, and I'm not gonna lie, I am underwhelmed. Not really that surprised that I'm underwhelmed, but like nothing happened in the first chapter that made me want to continue reading. Even what it's kind of teasing at, I'm still just not that interested in. So on the back of the book it says, after suffering an epic tumble down the corporate ladder, Cassie Woodman finds that the only way she can pay her bills is to take a thankless temp job reviewing correspondence in a large-scale fraud suit. The daily drudgery amplifies all that her life is lacking: love, friends, stability. So it's about this woman and she's taking this temp job. It sounds like she had a really high paying lawyer job and something happened. We don't know what it is, but now she's taking this temp job and she's kind of like lying to her coworkers about her situation. And she is going to be having to sift through all these emails, and she gets warned that there's sort of personal emails and should just avoid them. But it sounds like in the book she doesn't want to avoid them. She wants to snoop, and she ends up becoming obsessed with this husband and wife. But it just sounds very domestic to me, like a domestic thriller, and I'm just not that into that. And I'm also not really into books that kind of revolve around lawyers. That's just not that interesting to me. So I'm thinking that I probably will unhaul this book. It's hard though, because it does have potential to be good with the whole stalker aspect, but I think I'm gonna have to unhaul this because it's just not that interesting. And I don't have enough time to invest a lot of time in books that don't even sound that interesting to me. So unfortunately, this is a pass. All right, now I have to decide what I'm reading next. I have 3 options and I'm trying to like put my face in the frame. I have 3 options. I'm thinking I want to go with The Escape Room because this does sound like a really interesting concept to me, and fingers crossed that I like it. I really, really hope that it grabs my attention and that I actually want to read this book. So we will see, and I'll keep you updated. Hello, I am popping in. I read the first chapter. Technically, I read a prologue and then the first chapter. So the prologue was really interesting actually, and then the first chapter does have me intrigued. I still don't have like super high hopes for this book, but I feel like I might not unhaul it because I kind of want to keep reading and give it more of a chance. So basically what has happened so far is it starts with a prologue, and it's the security officer and he's walking around this building at night, and then he sees that the light on the elevator is flickering and he's really confused because he's like, I'm the only person in this building. So that freaks him out. And then there are gunshots. And so it opens with that, which I thought was a pretty strong opening. And then the first chapter, I believe it says 24 hours earlier. No, 34 hours earlier. And it's titled The Elevator, and it's about these coworkers who got called into this last minute meeting. And so they all go into the elevator, and it sounds like they all kind of hate each other. So that's all we know so far. And I am intrigued. I kind of want to keep reading. So I don't think I'm gonna unhaul this one. Also, I forgot to say that after Cass's live, I started a live on my channel, just kind of an impromptu little reading sprint with Lexi. So it's been fun, we've been reading. However, Lexi dropped her laptop, or rather Bowser knocked over her laptop. So right now she's trying to figure out if it's broken. So fingers crossed for her. But anyway, I'm on a live and I think I'm gonna move on to the next book soon. So I will keep you updated. I am torn between which one I should read next, When You Are Mine and The Project. I think I might switch to The Project just because it's YA and I might be able to kind of flip through it faster. So I'm thinking of trying The Project, and I will let you know my thoughts on this. I don't have high hopes for this one, to be honest. So I should probably tell you what The Project is about. So it's a YA book, and it says, the Unity Project, after a tragic accident kills most of her family and leaves her little sister Lo on the brink of death, Bea Denham is desperate for a miracle. It arrives in the form of Lev Warren, the charismatic spiritual leader of the Unity Project. He promises he can save Lo. All Bea has to do is believe. So it has cult vibes. That's basically all I know going into this one, and it's a YA. I read The Project, I read the prologue, and then I read actually a couple like short entries. So the prologue starts, it's like let's see, it's only a couple pages. It's in 1998, and it's when the younger sister is born. And then there's a 2011 chapter, a September 2017, and then an October 2017. So I read those and I'm just not interested at all. So I'm definitely just not going to continue with this one in Unhaul. I'm not really getting many culty vibes yet, but I just don't think it's worth it to try to stick around for it. The writing style isn't grabbing my attention, and since I've just heard so many disappointed reviews for this one, I am going to DNF it, unfortunately, and just unhaul it. So that's my thoughts on this one. My last book for the night that I'm going to try to read is When You Are Mine by Michael Robotham. I literally I'm struggling with that last name so much. This one I don't know very much about. Like I said in the beginning, it revolves around a police officer, which is not something I would typically gravitate towards, but I'm going to read this chapter, let you kind of know what happens in it, and report my thoughts back, see if I want to really unhaul this book. All right, so I read a chapter of, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting the title because it's not very memorable, When You Are Mine, and I didn't really like this. This is written by a man, and it's about a female police officer, and you know when you're reading a book and you can tell it's a man writing about a woman? That's the vibe I got. And also the plot just wasn't very interesting to me. This police officer gets called into this domestic violence incident, and she goes and tries to help, and it didn't catch my attention, and there was kind of a weird part that just rubbed me the wrong way. So I am not going to continue this one. I am going to unhaul it. So out of this video, I am unhauling for sure 2 books. So this one that I just talked about, and then I'm definitely unhauling The Project. This just did not grab my attention in the slightest. Oh my gosh, Felix is like zooming around the carpet. I don't know if you guys can hear him. He's so cute. He's so excited. And then just one look, honestly, I feel like I could definitely unhaul this too, just because the vibes were not interesting to me. I didn't really like the writing style, the plot of a domestic feeling sort of thriller, or I guess it's not even domestic. It's domestic in a way because it's this woman getting obsessed with this husband and wife, but it also takes place in this corporate environment that just wasn't very interesting to me. So I think I will unhaul this one, even though it is like obsession and stalkerish. It's this girl becoming obsessed with this couple, and that's just not as interesting to me. So I think I'm gonna unhaul this one. So the only one that I was actually pretty interested in was The Escape Room by Goldin, which I've been warned that it's sort of false advertisement with what this book is supposed to be. But I kind of want to keep reading it. I do want to keep reading it and see. I want to see if I can find an audiobook for this one so I can decide faster than if I was just reading it physically if I wanted to DNF it. So I'm hoping there is an audiobook for this one, but I liked the immediate kind of action that happens in the beginning. It grabbed my attention way more than the others, and then I want to know what took place in that elevator. And it looks like, if I'm kind of going forward, it looks like you get multiple POVs in this one, which is something that I enjoy. So I think I want to read this one. I may read it pretty soon too. So yeah, I feel like this was a fun video to do tonight. I did 2 sets of reading sprints, so I had a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.